is the Yankees have reported interest in bringing back Gio Urshela. Gio Urshela to the Yanks?
Mm.
There's a lot of thoughts going into this one right now.
You are Locked On Yankees, your daily New York Yankees podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Yankees, which is part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us your first listen every day. I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. That's $150 if your team wins. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. With me, as always, is my producer, Steve Granado. Steve, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Stace? What's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking on the show here today. We have weirdly enough, a whole bunch of stuff we need to get to here today. I alluded to something on Monday's episode that we're going to have a full conversation about. That's coming up much later on in the show. It's about MLB Expansion, and one of our commenters had a very interesting point we wanted to talk about. Of course, Stacey, also there was some news, some rumor stuff coming from ESPN about Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery and the likelihood of them coming to the Yankees. That's coming up later on in the show. But the bigger rumor, Stace, coming from The Athletic, is the Yankees have reported interest in bringing back Gio Urshela. Gio Urshela to the Yanks? There's a lot of thoughts going into this one right now. This again, as we always do for every day, as you already know, we link this in the episode description. It is The Athletic. You need a subscription, but the link will be there. And of course, our ESPN link will also be down below. That will, by the way, also be a paid one. That's an ESPN Plus article, but just so you're aware, everything's in the episode description as always. This is coming from a article by Will Salmon titled Mets Notes. Starling Marte participating in winter ball is a debut near. But the more important part here on our front, Stacey, is this quote. Urshela has attracted interest from the Mets and New York Yankees, among other league sources said. Man. Stacey, your initial thoughts here when you hear a tie back. Obviously, Urshela missed about half of the season last year, a little more than half of the season because of a broken pelvis. He tripped at first base. He was playing really, really, really well in Anaheim, and then eventually missed the entirety of the season because of that injury. So obviously adding him would be a benefit to the Yankees. But again, just your thoughts here initially when you hear Urshela to Yankees possible, kinda.
I was annoyed when he was traded away. I was annoyed by that trade the second it happened. Gosh, it's almost 2 years ago already. And because I love Gio, he's that type of player where he lays it on the line. I mean, he nearly killed himself the last day of the, the 21 season when he dove into the dugout and nearly kicked Angel Hernandez in the head. I love the kind of player he is. But my first thought is, where's he going? Where is he going to be? Where do the Yankees have room for him right now? Like, I feel like this is a really weird kind of out of third base instead of out of left field kind of thing. Like Gio Urshela, like why? I don't know.
That's the why. Again, let me preface with very good last season.
Yes.
Very good he's playing great last season. And like kind of teetering on all-star. He was like all-star teeter.
And that was a really freak
kept it up.
injury. I mean, have you ever heard of someone falling and getting a broken pelvis in baseball? Like when I heard that,
he just tripped. He tripped at first, running to first. He tripped. So look, I think Gio Urshela would obviously add a lot to the Yankees. He would give some depth on the infield, I wouldn't say much needed depth, but major league depth on the infield, which is really nice. Obviously they've made the moves to get guys like Jeter Downs into the mix. But don't figure to be in the mix on a non-injury basis. But when it comes to Gio Urshela, maybe the Yankees have interest here, and it looks like the Yankees have interest here, but does Gio Urshela have any interest in coming back? Because in my head, he's got to be looking for an everyday role, considering how well he played in the first half-ish of last season, right? Like, I don't think he'd be taking a fifth infield spot with no guaranteed playing time right now, right? Like right now, Gio Urshela would be playing like twice a week, maybe?
Yeah. And that wouldn't make any sense. And they also wouldn't move I guess DJ would be the one. Like right now, that's what they're saying. DJ would be third. And why would they take him off third for Gio Urshela and then put him in a role where he's only playing? Like, it just, where's the fit here? I don't understand. When I first saw that rumor, that was my first thought was, that's not what they need. Can Gio Urshela pitch? Maybe if he could pitch, they can add him to the team.
Because I'm starting to play like 4D chess here with like, okay, well, if they sign Urshela, then maybe that means they're trading Oswald. And if they trade Oswald, I mean, well, what happens to Volpe? And like now my head's doing that. And that's not any place to be.
No.
Stacey, we wanted to like unveil, quote unquote, our first projected roster of 2024. This is in flux. This is just looking at what the Yankees have right now and us anticipating what possibly could be the roster come opening day. There is January 2nd. Don't take this as Bible. This could easily change. Nobody's been reported as injured. Nobody's had any surgeries. This is what we know as of January 2nd. I'm not going to go too deep here on the pitchers because it doesn't really have much bearing of this conversation, but the pitching staff right now, this could be a whole can of worms. Garrett Cole, Carlos Rodon, Nestor Cortez, Clark Schmidt. And right now I have Clayton Beater making it as the 5. That is way in flux. Again, it's January 2nd. And then your bullpen consists of Jonathan Loaizica, Victor Gonzalez, Clay Holmes, Nick Ramirez, Ian Hamilton, Cody Morris, Tommy Canely, and Ron Marinaccio. Of course, Scott Efras is anticipated to be back by spring training here. That can make a difference. Matt Crook might be in the mix here. Again, there are a lot of things the Yankees might end up doing on this bullpen. They could still add people. There's a lot going on. Don't want to get into it. But the infield right now is where we're really looking at. Anthony Rizzo, DJ LeMahieu, Gleyber Torres, Anthony Volpe, and right now I have Oswald Peraza on the roster as the 5th infielder. Your catchers of Jose Trevino and Ben Rortvedt. Your DH is Stanton. Your outfielders right now, only one of them is from last season, and of course it's Aaron Judge with Juan Soto, Alex Verdugo, and Trent Grisham. And then your utility man, your 26th man, is Oswaldo Cabrera. Stacey, again, where does Gio Urshela fit here? In reality, it's replacing Oswald on this list. Again, it comes with the conversation that's been surrounding Oswald for 2 years now. Everyday playing time. Does he have it? Right now, no. From everything we know. So does Oswald even make this list? Do they elect to go with a Jeter Downs instead? A lot of things in the air here, but adding a Gio Urshela to this roster right now, no injuries, nothing else, doesn't make a whole bunch of sense in my head because it's not like he's Oswaldo Cabrera who can play multiple positions in the outfield. Gio Urshela is just an infielder.
Right. I don't understand it. It's the last thing the Yankees need right now. Like, honestly, if you look at this roster, it's pretty full with infielders and people who can play the infield. And that just, it feels like, I don't know. I mean, I know the league sources are saying that maybe the Yankees are interested and other teams are interested and the Mets are interested, but it just might be one of those things that's just out there because it doesn't make any sense to me. Not right now, not with the way the roster is and how many guys are there. It just doesn't make sense now.
And how many of these guys you're saying, oh, he needs to play every day?
Yeah.
There's 5 infielders that need to play 4 infield spots every day.
Right.
and you're like, oh, well, DH him. Stanton's got to play.
No, Stanton's going to be the majority of his time is going to be as the DH.
The only guys on this list that don't need to play every day is like Trent Grisham. Your catchers, obviously, they'll trade off. And then Oswaldo Cabrera.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the only guys in my head that the Yankees would see as don't have to play every day.
Yep.
Everyone else has to play every day. Yeah. So where would Gio fit? And this is why I was saying all along when those rumors about IKF were like, oh, the Yankees might have a reunion. I'm like, where? Where's he going to go?
Yeah.
Like, and not that IKF need to play every day, even though he basically did last season.
Right.
I don't know. That's why I never took any stock into that rumor. And I'm not saying I'm not taking stock into this rumor. Again, it adds some depth here, some major league depth, because Oswald Peraza is not major league depth by their own doing. But it just doesn't make a whole bunch of sense to me. I wouldn't be like, whoa, I can't believe they did that. But more again, I'm going, wow, that's another year of Oswald down in AAA.
Right. And it's just, I say it every time we talk about him. Why did you hold on to him?
Yeah.
Why did you make it a point to hold on to him if you're going to keep doing this to him? And if something like this happens where they do get Gio Urshela, you know that Peraza is going to be the odd man out. It's just
Yeah,
the way
and
they
it goes to
operate.
this again. The players got to want to come too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got to imagine he wants to play every day.
Yeah.
Duh, it's a Major League Baseball player.
Mm-hmm. And he played here already. He knows what it's like. He's had some,
Yeah.
nice moments in Yankees pinstripes. So it's not like you're worried about how he's going to perform here because he knows how to, but not 2 days a week.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it's 2, maybe 3 games a week.
Yeah.
And like he could be an everyday second baseman somewhere.
Yes, that's another thing. Like aren't there teams that probably need
Yeah.
infielders more than the Yankees do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, if
'Cause,
anything,
like,
the Yankees could trade with someone who needs an infielder for pitching or
more
something.
than adding another. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right.
Mhm.
Again, don't take our roster as fully ironclad at this point. It is very, very early to be projecting a roster at this point. There will be injuries. Of those 26 guys, someone will be hurt by opening day. I'm telling you right now. It's just how every single baseball season has gone in the history of mankind. Of course, while you're in those comment sections, in the comment section telling us about that, make sure to leave your questions for Fan Mail Friday. That's coming up on Friday, our next episode. Reply to that pinned comment to get priority on that. You can join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. The episode description has all the info you need. You get a whole bunch of really cool perks. You can text us, ask us about things. One of our insiders sent us a link to an article. We read that and responded and gave our thoughts about it. It was about Esteban Florial, so go check that out. In the episode description, there's a 14-day free trial. You can text us anytime. All right, Stace, not the only rumor to hit since our last episode. Snell Montgomery, some quote-unquote news on that, some inside sources. We're going to talk about that next.
The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same game parlays. Easier said than done. You can even find bets in the brand new Explore tab. And, you have football, basketball, they have everything. But if you're looking for baseball, I know it's early January, but the Yankees 2024 World Series odds are plus 850, and they're still favored to win the AL at plus 450. So visit fanduel.com/lockedon and make your first bet a layup. There's the basketball part. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Back now on today's Locked On Yankees. Of course, hey, everydayers out there, our next episode is on Friday, Fan Mail Friday. You guys already know that, as always. And of course, if you're looking for something on Tuesday and on Thursday, you can always check out the 24/7 streaming YouTube channel, Locked On Sports Today. The top stories every day, 24/7, every 30 minutes, a new episode. So go check it out, Locked On Sports Today. All right, Stace, there was a report coming from Kiley McDaniel right before the new year from ESPN. The article is, as always, linked in the episode description. Again, it is an ESPN Plus article, so you will need an ESPN Plus subscription. It was titled "Free Agents, Trades, and Moves Yamamoto Finalists Can Pursue." Of course, the Yankees were Yamamoto finalists and in all likelihood finished second. The article in question here, Stacey, again, this is coming from Kiley McDaniel, saying, quote, "I don't think the top free agent options left fit what the Yankees need. Blake Snell has way too much Rodon-type risk to him. Jordan Montgomery will cost about what Rodon did last offseason and offer less upside while also not being the type of pitcher the Yankees have targeted, i.e. younger or with better raw stuff. After those two, the remaining free agent starters are mid-rotation types, and New York needs more impact than that." Stace, we did a whole episode on Blake Snell, and we came to the conclusion that in the short term, it made more sense than in the long term, which Yamamoto made way more sense to every club in the long term. So again, Kiley McDaniel starts this whole thing with, "I don't think." So that's a massive caveat here that this writer is saying that. But your reaction to the analysis here?
Yeah. So the Yankees need pitchers who can handle playing in New York. We know Jordan Montgomery can because he was here, you know? I kind of get what he's saying, but it's also annoying to me because where else are the Yankees getting pitching from at this point? Like, these are the two guys you need to look at. And if you don't get them, like, at least try. And if you don't get them, then try for someone else. But I don't know. I'm not liking this at all. It kind of made me angry.
We've been talking about Jordan Montgomery since he was traded to Texas. Maybe a little bit before then, honestly. We probably had brought up Jordan Montgomery. So every day is probably hearing broken record type stuff here about this. And for that, we apologize.
I know.
But
it's also January. Bear with us.
Yes. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. But yes, Montgomery is going to cost probably more than anybody would like to pay him. Because of what the market is like, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just how it goes right now. We're again, Zach Plesac got a major league deal, dude. It doesn't make any sense right now. The pitching front free agent market is a little wild, which of course bleeds into the trade front.
Yes,
because pitching is in short supply. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah.
Yamamoto obviously was going to get paid. He obviously had done incredible in the Nippon League. But at the same time, in a regular year, in a regular time, a couple of years ago, is a guy coming over from Japan getting a 12-year, $300 and whatever million deal? Probably not.
No.
Probably not. But this is the situation that Major League Baseball is in right now with the lack of starting pitching, great starting pitching out there, good investment starting pitching being out there. It was Yamamoto.
Yeah.
This starts and stops there. That was it. So if you're not going to go out and get these guys, I get the risk involved, but I don't think there's a single free agent or trade piece that's being floated that doesn't have inherent risk with it, right?
Right. Everyone does. Yes. I mean, that's just the way baseball is. You never know how anyone really is going to be. I mean, Yamamoto's a risk. You don't know how he's really going to do in MLB. I mean, I know he has good stuff, but you don't know.
You don't know. You have no
and that's
idea.
a big investment to make.
The only caveat to that is, oh, well, he did face Major League pitching during the World Baseball Classic and shoved, which, okay, that makes you feel a little bit better. But to your point, when people start adjusting.
Yes.
People start adjusting, dude. It always happens. Look what happened to Garrett Cole in 2022.
Yeah.
Starts giving up homers. People adjusted. It happens.
Yeah.
So you don't know. You don't know. You never know. No one's a surefire bet ever. So yes, I get that there's inherent risk with Blake Snell, and we went through at length that for 15, 20 minutes. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And the same goes with Jordan Montgomery, because it could have been a fluke couple of months. It totally could have. But that, of course, Stacey, that article went on to also mention some stuff about the trade market. They say that since Yamamoto, the Dylan Cease price tag has gone up, which we anticipated. Which is what seemingly has taken so long for the White Sox to move Dylan Cease, because they're seeing the market and they're like, if we wait a little longer, maybe we get an extra prospect out of this.
Yep.
We don't got to play until April. Like we're hanging out for a while.
Yeah.
And even then, we don't have to move them. We just should. Of course, they also went into depth. Again, this is Kylie McDaniel talking about it more in depth, proposing a trade of Chase Hampton, a starting pitcher, Everson Pereira, and Agustin Ramirez, catcher in the Yankees system, at this price tag for Dylan Cease. Kind of on the fence, given the history here of the Yankees in prospect hugging that price tag, that name tag rather, that has been attached to them. Yes, I don't see them doing something like that. But, big but here, being that they just did it for Juan Soto.
Right.
They just did it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, your thoughts on that? I know this is not an analysis of the trade front here, Stacey, but your thoughts on giving up a 3 prospect swap, potential top 100 guys for Dylan Cease, given the season that he just had?
See, this is, oh God, it's just, we knew coming into the offseason, we spoke about this, I believe, on Monday, that the free agent market was thin and that, there wasn't a lot to go around. So then you'd have to work with trades. But losing out on Yamamoto made this where the Yankees really need pitching. And if they're that desperate for it,
they might do it.
They might do it.
Yeah.
Because they can't just do Juan Soto. They
can't. And
to get at least one pitcher. They really need two, but they have to get at least one. So
yeah, because again, right now, Beater is your 5. Right now, Beater is 5, or it's a bullpen day with Nick Ramirez or Ian Hamilton going the opener.
Yeah.
And you want to live like that for 162 games? I don't think the Yankees want to live like that.
No.
The second Nestor feels that fatigue again, Yoendrys Gomez is getting a call from Somerset.
Because, I mean, we said it the other day. The only person we really feel comfortable with going into the season out of that rotation is Garrett Cole. The rest of them are kind of like up in the air.
Yes. So I said it when it happened. I said it the days following when it happened. But the Yankees created a problem when they solved a different one.
Right.
When they got Juan Soto. They created, they exacerbated a problem. And when you don't have even as bad as Sevy was and as much of a headache as Herman was, at least you had him. At least you had warm bodies to throw the ball every 5 days. I know, maybe not every 5 days, but you still had them, and they don't anymore. So you're trying to figure it out at this point. And they're going to have to get creative here, dude. They're going to have to get creative, and the price tag just keeps going higher and higher the longer the offseason grows.
Yep.
Let us know how you're feeling about this stuff. Again, everything is linked in the episode description. If you want to go read further on both of these, you need subscriptions for both to read them, just as a heads up, as always. All right. We're going to kind of semi-continue this conversation about the lack of pitching in Major League Baseball when it relates to expansion. We'll get to that next. Back here on Locked On Yankees, our Wednesday edition, midweek edition of the show. Stacey, on Monday's show, I alluded to something very briefly, but realized that it was going to put us over time. And so I wanted to get to that now.
Ooh.
There was a comment on one of our episodes here, Stacey. I don't think we've ever actually done this where we've taken a comment like this, like that wasn't like, hey, we want you to tell us something and then we'll expand on it. We do this with our everydayers on the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club. Of course, they can always pitch ideas for the show, but this is coming from one of our our people, like a regular commenter. This is a comment on an episode from over a month ago that since I read it, I think I thought about it twice a week. Like that's where I'm at with it. Here's the comment. We're talking about MLB Expansion. Someone had asked us where we would want to put the 2 expansion teams, the theoretical 2 expansion teams. This is what at Let's Go Yanks says. Every day there's no Let's Go Yanks, regularly dropping fan mail questions. Saying this, quote, until teams stop tanking and taking all the luxury tax dollars and not reinvesting, I am against expansion. Quite frankly, a couple of teams need to go. Pitching depth is already stretched too thin. Can't imagine what would it look like with MLB expansion. Just my opinion. Thank you, Let's Go Yanks, for always being a part of our community and commenting on the show. Stacey, I again, we didn't get into it on Monday's show, but I told you what was in my brain after, and you were like, whoa. You had the same reaction I did. I never once considered, oh, wait. Can Major League Baseball expand because of this pitching problem? Like, this is a problem.
It's a problem.
It's not like young fans aren't interested, the games are too long problem. But this is a little bit of a problem. Pitching depth is thin in Major League Baseball right now, especially when it comes to starting pitching.
Yeah. And could you imagine having to add, starting pitching for 2 teams? That's 10 starters right there. And there's not enough
10
for that.
starters and 8 affiliates.
Yeah, right. And no, there's not enough. Because when you mentioned this on Monday, you saw my face. I was like, I never
You're
even.
like, whoa.
Like that was, holy cow. Never even thought of that. And when I thought of it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah. Rare occasion of a YouTube comment on anybody's channel. Like, you'd be like, oh, this is a thought-provoking idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Why don't they trade Stanton? That's every YouTube channel that covers the Yankees, by the way.
Pretty much, yes.
Anyway, the couple of teams need to go, I thought was interesting. I don't want to open that can of worms.
That's a really big can of worms, and it might even be more than a couple with the way some of these owners don't spend money. But yeah, that could be a whole episode.
Yeah, I don't want to go down that path. But yeah, just like the thoughts of it, right? Again, you're thinking 2 major league starting rotations plus 2 major league bullpens plus 4 affiliates. At this point in my head, I'm going like, we also kind of talked about this a little bit. A couple of thoughts here. You would have to, in all likelihood, have an expansion draft, which means teams are getting plucked.
Right.
Right. And the problem with, in case you're wondering how this works, like you're looking at the NHL, who's one of the most recent leagues to have expanded, one of the major 4. The NHL adds one at a time. They added Vegas, then they added Seattle, right? And it seems to have worked out in all practice. You can't do that in baseball. You have to add in pairs.
Right.
You can't have teams with off days like that because there's just not enough time in the calendar to do that. You'd be playing baseball year round if you wanted to get to 162 if you had 31 teams. So you can't do it mathematically. So you have to add 2. I think that's the weird caveat here with baseball is you can't have the odd number. You got to add 2. And again, that's 10 minimum starting pitchers. That's 16 minimum, right? My math right? 13, 26, 10, 20, 6, yeah, 16 major league bullpen arms. And then that's 13 position players on either side. Minimum major leaguers. So I never thought about it. And now I'm thinking about it pretty much every time I think about expansion now, because I'm like, yeah, the talent pool. You'd have to, in my head, expand the draft back, which I don't think Major League Baseball wants to do. You got to get more bodies. Right now, there are so many non-drafted free agents that come out of after the draft every year now. Ever since the 2020 draft, the non-drafted free agent front, if you're not watching this kind of stuff, it's like expanding more and more. You're getting guys signing out of Clemson and Mississippi and like all those schools. They didn't get drafted, but the teams are still interested in them because the draft is so short. They have more players on their radar, and now they get them a little bit more on the cheap. That would be massively exacerbated if you added 2 more systems of what would be 8 teams.
Right.
And especially when you consider the issues that Major League Baseball already has on the international front when it comes to no international draft and just the debate over that in the community going like, dude, international draft is good. International draft is bad. Like all these issues become exacerbated when you add 2 more teams and you add 80 more 40-man roster spots. 80.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
I don't know, Stace. I don't want to be the downer.
Right.
Because I like expansion. I like the idea of it. Whoa, more teams, more fan bases, more players, more.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. But not
the logistics now.
The logistics of it, and not if the expansion teams are going to be horrible for the first like 15 years of their existence.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how it was for the Rays weren't horrible for the first 15 years, but they were pretty bad for the first, 7, 8, 9, and then they improved. But yeah, it's so interesting to think about. That's a lot of extra players, and there's not enough stuff out there for it.
Yeah.
Not now.
I mean, on the one hand, 4 players, it's good. It's way more opportunities. So many more opportunities. That's, again, another 100 per team. 100 more players. So it's 200 players. Roughly, obviously. There's some, you have more. But you don't have less. But yeah, it's a lot of spots, a lot more opportunities, but it does create some problems that you don't really think about when you think about expansion. Again, because your brain goes, oh, that'd be so cool if there was a team in Mexico City, dude. That'd be dope. Or, oh, dude, Montreal got baseball back. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I don't know where they're at with expansion. This is kind of our own doing. Of course, I feel like this is more in fan circles.
Yeah.
The rumors feel like they pop up every now and then. Like Nashville might get Salt Lake City is going to build a Major League size park. They're in talks. That seems more like the thing. But I've never seen anything from Major League Baseball. I haven't seen anything from Rob Manfred that's been specifically like, I want to expand the major leagues.
No, not yet.
No. again, that you'd have to, man, there's just so many players. There's just so many players. And you want it to be good. You want it to be a good product. There's so many teams right now that aren't good products too.
Right. And then adding 2 more that won't be good because they won't be good.
Yeah, they won't.
From the jump.
They'd
so you're going to have even more.
because like it worked in the NHL. Like for some reason, Vegas expansion draft was incredible and they went straight to the Stanley Cup, which was unreal.
Right.
But I can't see that in baseball. I don't see that happening.
No.
There's no way. There's just not enough talent. At least good major league talent that'll convert. Anyway, let us know how you're feeling about this comment. And let's go Yanks. Thanks again for commenting all the time. We really appreciate it. Being a part of Fan Mail Fridays, and this comment really, really thought-provoking, man. So we really, really appreciate it. Stacey, of course, people can hang out in those comments because what's coming up on Friday?
It's Fan Mail Friday, where we answer your questions to the best of our ability.
Yeah, we try to do it.
We try.
We try. But of course, you can always join the Locked On Yankees Insiders Club to get priority for that, as well as a whole bunch of other perks. So check out the episode description for more info. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Yankees. I'm Steve Granado.
And I'm Stacey Gotsoulias. We will see you on Friday.